everyone to this video on heel turns for followers. The heel turn is a move that comes up in standard dances and it's performed by both the lead and the follower, but we're just going to be having a look at the followers one in this video. So let's get into it. Now for the purpose of today, we're going to just look at the 3 steps that are needed to go into the heel turn, complete the heel turn and come out of it again. The other thing is that whoever is going backwards is the one performing the heel turn. So in these demonstrations you'll see Ian coming forward and me going back. I'll be doing the heel turn and then it will be me coming forward at Ian for that final step. Now the heel turn is a movement. It's not a figure in and of itself, but it is applied to lots of different figures, particularly in the Foxtrot, but you also come across it in dances like the Waltz and the Quickstep as well. It can go on either foot, and because it's a turning figure, it will go in either direction depending on which foot you start it on. So it can go clockwise, it can be a natural turn, or it can be anti-clockwise, a reverse turn. So to show you guys a demo of a heel turn, we'd have step, turn, and stepping out of it. So in that demonstration, Ian was coming forward on the left foot and I was going back on my right into it, which meant that we were turning anti-clockwise. So that was a reverse heel turn. He could have chosen to come forward on his right foot. That means I would go back on my left foot, and that would be your natural heel turn. Now, because I was going backwards into that figure, I was the one doing the heel turn. So followers, let's have a look at your footwork first. Now, it doesn't matter which foot you practice this on. In fact, you should practice it on both because you want to be able to do it on both. I'm going to start this one on my left foot, so I will be turning clockwise as I turn. Now the important thing to note here is that whichever foot I go backwards on, that's the heel that I am going to perform my heel turn on. So every backward step has to be a ball of the foot action. We don't want to try and land on the heel straight away. So I'm going to go backwards on the left foot, and at the moment my pressure is all into the ball of the foot. My heel hasn't gone down. It will though as I shift my weight onto that foot, and as soon as I feel that my heel is down, I lift up the toe, and that is the heel that I am turning around on. Now if anyone was noticing what my right foot was doing, please don't, because it wasn't doing the correct thing. We don't want the other foot to sort of sway out, because that's going to sort of take the feet of the leader out from under them. So we want to keep that other foot, it's not in contact with the ground at this point, but we want to keep it nice and neat with our other foot. So the best way to think about it is to think heels together. I am turning on my left heel, but my right heel comes to meet the other foot so that everything is nice and neatly underneath. I'm not knocking myself off balance while that other foot is swaying out, orbiting around me, and I'm not kicking my partner in the shins either. If I do the same thing but on the right foot, so I'll be turning anti-clockwise, I go backwards with the ball of the foot on my right foot, transfer my weight over so that my heel hits the ground, and I turn on that right foot, but I want to keep my left foot nice and neat underneath me as I do. So we have back on the right and turn on the right heel, the left foot nice and neatly coming with it. Now once I've completed the turn, I want to be ready to put my weight on that opposite foot. It's a good steadying thing to have. It sort of puts on the brakes once we've completed our turn, and we do want to transfer our weight to that other foot. So if I'm going back on my left foot and doing my turn on the left, it's my right foot that I put my weight on after I've completed the turn, and that's my second step of the heel turn completed. Now, depending on how the heel turn is used, what figure the leader is leading us through, the third step can go in a number of different directions. The simplest way is just to come forward towards our partner. So if I put on that third step in our simplest form, I'd have back, turn and transfer my weight, and come forward. And the foot I'm coming forward on is the same one that went back and performed that heel turn. So doing a reverse turn, I'd have back and heel turn, transfer weight, and stepping out. Now, even though it's the followers who are performing this heel turn, leaders, it's your job to lead them into it and support them as they go around. So let's have a look at the leader's steps. The leader's 3 steps are in many ways a little bit simpler than the lady's steps. There's no feet together, so you get 3 clean transfers of weight. Again, depending on which way you're turning, it will either be left, right, left for a reverse turn, or right, left, right for a natural turn. Now, the make or break moment of a heel turn is between steps 1 and 2 for the gentleman. You're trying to get the lady to turn on the spot and only just on that one heel. So she's quite vulnerable to being knocked to one side or forwards and backwards as you go. So you want to try and make her turn on the spot as you step around her and support her as you go. Ian's coming forward on the right foot here, so he's turning clockwise. He's got a nice driving step through and turning. The second step he's going to take as a sideways motion while still turning, and you'll notice that his feet aren't very far away from each other. That will mean that the follower in his frame can stay on the spot and be nice and supported, and then he is going to step out on his right foot and going backwards. So we have forward, round, and back. If he comes forward on the left foot, he'll be turning anti-clockwise, and we have again forward, round, and back. So leaders, when you're thinking about that second step, don't worry too much about where the foot lands. The foot will land where it needs to underneath you. Concentrate more on the action of blocking the lady off with your body. You've got enough momentum from that first step to shift a little way around the lady. Other than that, concentrate on what the body is doing, blocking her off and then stepping out. So if we do our reverse heel turn, Ian's coming forward at me, blocking me off so I can do my heel turn nice and balanced, and then we are stepping out of it. We have the same thing if we're doing a natural heel turn. Ian comes forward, blocks me off, and then I'm stepping at him to come out. Now, as we said, the heel turn isn't a figure in and of itself, but it's used in many different figures, and because of that, things about it will change depending on what dance we're doing and what figure in that dance. One thing that we've mentioned previously is the direction of that last step. We've been demonstrating with me coming forward and Ian going backwards, but it can be taken to the side or on an angle. Another thing that may change is the amount of turn that we achieve over those 3 steps. We've been demonstrating most of those ones with 3/8 of a turn, but it can be either underturned or overturned, depending on what you want to do next. The other thing that can change is the timing of those 3 steps. We've been going through them fairly slowly and fairly evenly, and that's what you might find if you're dancing something like a waltz. It has 3 steps, so you can step each of those steps to one of the 3 beats of the waltz music. If you're dancing a foxtrot, though, you might find that you have a regular foxtrot rhythm for those 3 steps with a slow, quick, quick. So that, in a nutshell, is our heel turn. So practice those movements, both leaders and followers, see how you go, and we'll catch you next time.